This is me, Ruowen Huang. It's been a while. Anyway, my week been kind of busy. Hopefully we can keep up to our broadcast this week. Before I start, let me first introduce myself. My name is Ruowen Huang. I'm an author, spirit coach, and also a psychic. Today I want to talk about the Heart Sutra. If you're not religious or if you're not Buddhist, you probably got no clue about what I'm talking about. But, if you are somewhat connected to Buddhism or your parents is first generations or come from Asia and then they are very religious person and then you don't know what they are chanting about. In Buddhism, there are two chanting that's commonly used for, I don't even know how to start this, but anyway, the reason I'm going to do this episode because this is a very common use chanting. It's called Heart Sutra. The reason I want to talk about this is if you guys have a little bit idea of Buddhism, you'll realize Buddhism based greatly around reincarnation. So why we are here to basically pay our debt or fulfill the mistake that we make in the previous life and etc. So that's why when we come here, almost everybody was born, if they're aware of it, it's almost like a sinner. The reason why I call sinner is you would realize all those old religious people is they always doing something. It's like they try to make up for something. But anyway, the reason I want to bring this up is if you happen to be second generation overseas and you watch your parents chanting all the time and you don't understand why, or if you are even from Asia and then you are always asked to chant this and you don't understand why, I guess that's why I'm doing this episode. Of course, if you are not interested in any chanting, you can easily just skip it or because that's not something that you want to know. So anyway, the reason I want to talk about Heart Sutra is because it's very commonly used in Buddhism. It's Buddhism believes greatly in karmic creditor, like people you met, people you're dealing with, whether it's good or bad, it comes with a common credit around you. That's why you are here to pay your debt. But it expands to greater scale. It can be people you met or people you don't met, people you see or people you don't see. So very often if you are in Buddhism and then you are experiencing continuously unluckiness, you call unluckiness, very often it got interpreted into you have some karmic creditor is following you, which means ghosts. You have some ghosts following you, and then they need to collect their debt. So therefore, some people, if they are religious enough, they may ask you to chant. The reason I ask you to chant is they believe by chanting this is almost like a spirit's money. You then pay off your debt by chanting, and then give them some kind of energy to pay off your debt. I think that's what the explanation is. But anyway, today I want to talk about why are we chanting this and what effect this Heart Sutra does. So at the beginning of time, when I don't know anything, so sure enough, when I'm seeing all those ghosts around me and I see, those karmic creditor, people being always climbing, following me or, people I know, my auntie at that time, is very religious person, very religious, recommended me to chant. So what I have to do is I have to chant every day. And to chant, I will then soothe those ghosts and make them feel better so they can leave me alone. So I've been doing that for quite some time, believe it or not. I've actually been chanting for quite some time. But as if you guys know me, I often ask why. Why do I have to chant this? Why this, not that? Why? Why is, why some of them require 5 times? Why some of them require 25 times? Some of them actually require 100 times. Why? So sure enough, one question after the other, it led me to start observing what the Heart Sutra actually does to you. In Buddhism, it's very common. People ask you to chant without have to knowing what's going on, or what lyric really mean. That is, sometimes I don't even know what it meant, but I simply repeat after what I see. Repeat a word, or I try to memorize a word. Does that mean? A lot of time you ask people, they say it doesn't matter. You just have to read it, right? See, it doesn't even make sense because it doesn't make sense to me, because in my head I'm thinking, okay, if it really doesn't mean anything, then it doesn't matter if I read it right or wrong. See, in Chinese religions, they tell you cannot make a mistake. If you make a mistake, you gotta restart it over again, right? So in my head is, if I don't even have to know what I read, like the meaning of what I read, why do I have to care if I read it right or wrong? Then my question goes to, who come up with this chanting in the first place? Who actually make it into word the first place? And then if they make it into the words the first place, do they really not knowing what it is? If they really not knowing what it is, then what exactly is went through their mind for them to write those down? You know where I'm going with this, right? So sure enough, through all the study, the Heart Sutra is actually easier, way easier than the Great Compassion mantra, which I will talk about it tomorrow or later today. I don't know. But throughout the time after I became chanting, believe it or not, been years, the Heart Sutra for a while, by giving to the ghosts or by, to the people or whoever I know so they can have a greater love, I start to realize the Heart Sutra's effect is more inward than outward. If that can make it more clear for you, that is. The Heart Sutra's energy, whenever I'm chanting it, I notice, especially after I can see where the energy, literally see where the energy flow, I start to realize the Heart Sutra's energy actually go within yourself instead of outward. Does that make sense to you? That is, if I'm chanting something, I can follow that energy, then I realize it go within myself. Now I want to know, why is it go within myself? What does that do to go within myself? What it does is it get you to reflect yourself. So what Heart Sutra actually trying to do, or if you guys ever spend some time to understand the meaning of it, is for the chanter, whoever is reading it, to come reflect within yourself. Very likely tell you to let go of things you've been hanging on for. As now you probably know, most of the pain that we create for ourselves, most of the heart pain, or the sorrow, the hatred, the jealousy, or things like that, is something that we're heading strongly within ourselves that we cannot let go of. Due to those hanging on, those feelings that we hang on to, we then almost create a, illusional suffering for ourselves. Does that make sense to you? So that is, my life might be great, but because I'm hanging on to those hatred, jealousy, or how life should be better, but I'm not better yet, I then think I'm living a miserable life. So I believe then create a knot, as you will all know, a knot within yourself, like really tight, you couldn't let go. Sometimes you even have difficulty breathing, or sometimes you're just very scared. You know how you're tiptoeing? That's exactly how you feel like, right? So when you are chanting the Heart Sutra, which a lot of Buddhism believe, you're chanting that to release those ghosts. It does have those effects, because majority of us have a habit of hanging on to things, especially for the ghost, right? So by chanting it to them, to the people that you want to give those chanting to, most likely you want them to let go of something within themselves, to understand we here come to this life not to punish ourselves. We here come to this life to rejuvenate ourselves, to actually make ourselves better, to make ourselves evolve, right? If you start to let go, then you understand the only way can get you evolve is very much just let go of those, right? So as you will see, the more you chant it, most of the time people tell you to chant out loud. Why? Because who is receiver? At this point, you really have to think who is receiver. It's not anybody else but you. Most of the people who have, let's be honest, why do we go for the religions, right? We go for religions because there is something we're seeking for greater answer for. You know what I mean? Because we're seeking for greater answer for, that means there's something that we couldn't figure out as a human power, right? So in that case, that's why we chant. we chant, we believe in religions, we pray, we chant, or whatever things you do, because we're hoping to find a peace of mind. How do we reach that peace of mind? Now you understand. We can reach that peace of mind by letting go of things, by letting go something that we're hanging on. So if you ever study the Heart Sutra, because what I do is I actually study the energy flow first. To start to realize energy flow always flow within, that got me to understand. I think I have a need to understand because I like to know what am I taking in within myself. You know what I mean? So because I like to know what do I taking in myself. I cannot read something that I don't even know what it means. So because of that, I start to study Heart Sutra. Like I start to understand the Heart Sutra actually is the easiest understanding chant of all. By reading it, you start to understand. By really understanding it, by chanting it, your brain or your soul start receiving the command. By letting go of things that you may or may not have hard time to let go of. By continuously put yourself in that. Really, a lot of old people, I don't want to judge, but a lot of old people believe they're doing that for someone else's good. But what I'm here to say is, for a chanter who is reading the Heart Sutra, I do realize the effect that affect on other people is never as greater as the effect on you, especially on Heart Sutra. What it does is there's something within yourself that you couldn't let go of. It can be, resentment you have toward your parents. It could be the anger, the grudge, or something like you feel like I'm not good enough, I'm not, beautiful, or I'm ugly, nobody love me. By chanting it, by your soul listen to your own voice, as I always say, you are the best person to brainwash yourself. Since that's the case, the best way to do is listen to your own voice and hopefully, eventually, understand what the Heart Sutra really means. Because your soul finally understand what it meant, you will then subconsciously start letting go of those angers, start letting go of those frustrations, start letting go of those things that you've been hanging on to. So anyway, I'm just here to let you guys know, we got common chanting. Heart Sutra, the big one of them. If you ever have people ask you to chant this one or for other people, and you want to know if it works or it doesn't work, I'm here to let you know it does work. But in order to, instead of working for others, it actually works better for yourself. How? Because Heart Sutra have a lot of power or energy to kind of slowly, in a very gentle way. It's actually, well, thank you. I cannot really respond to the question right now, but I'm trying to wrap it up. But thank you for joining me. But anyway, here I'm just trying to say what the effect Heart Sutra really does is actually going within yourself. Every time you chanter, read it, the energy go flow within themselves. The effect it does is soothe you or comfort you in a way you can slowly let go of whatever you are hanging on to. Of course, people use it upon some other people. When you use on some other people, the effect may not be as great as you do within yourself, but it's more like a blessing you're giving to other people, hoping for the best for them. Does it work for the ghost? Yes. It's like that for the ghost is almost like a Halloween candy. Does that even make sense? Every time you read it, then everybody's like eager to get it. Because in the ghost, why are they still ghosts? Because there's something they cannot let go of, right? So sometimes you will find them really eager to grab it, or, if you do see them, they will run around, or they will fight over it just so they can grab it, Now I'm just here to let you know, does it have effect? Yes, it does. But what does it does? Hopefully I explain the reason why. So again, if you like what I'm doing, you can always join me live on Facebook, or go to subscribe my YouTube channel or iTunes podcast, or go to my website, ruowen.com. Till then, I see you guys next time. Bye!